and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I am shooting from a very nice location. It's a place called Hoimas. And last week, but one, I asked that I would like to share the story of a gay man living with HIV in Kenya, and a lot of people on my Facebook page tagged Githaiga Samuel, and today we are here with him on our YouTube channel. He's a very TikTok star. If you're on TikTok, you can follow him there, and he always has these very inspiring, nice messages on matters HIV. So we are with him today. He's going to share with us his struggles, his journey, and what he has to tell society about gay people and living with HIV in general. So you cannot miss this video.
My name is Samuel Githaiga. I'm the coordinator for Network of Key Populations Affected by HIV in Kepa. I'm also a case navigator at Hoimas Kenya. Hoimas Kenya, I navigate or I help people living with HIV, young people living with HIV, and other young male sex workers. I'm a male sex worker living with HIV for the last 6 years, and I have been positive and detectable for the last 5 years or so. I contracted HIV at the streets of Nairobi. That time I was still a sex worker, and I did not have, I was still vulnerable, and the vulnerability levels were high because at that time I did not know, I was not exposed, and I did not know much about life. I did not know much about what protection is. I was still young, and I think that time it was very difficult to access healthcare services for people like us, people who are street boys, and they are also outside there, there was that stigma of young gay people accessing healthcare at health facility, and so of course I did not have access to that protection education. I don't have access to sexual reproductive health. And what I do at Hoimas is that I work for other young people. I work with other young male sex workers, and my work entails just monitoring and seeing the well-being of other people living with HIV, because there is a lot of aspect. There is adherence part of it which I follow up, and there is also things like delivering of drugs. There is also things like counseling, in terms of peer counseling, and there is a lot in terms of also economic empowerment and nutrition support that we do at Hoimas. That is exactly my department at Hoimas, and that is what I do at Hoimas.
So Githaiga, how was life growing up?
Life growing up was not, I would not say it was that easy. Githaiga was born in the slums of Kangemi, and I grew up just like any other, any other slum dweller, yeah? I grew up knowing, boys around me, girls around me. We were very close, and we had that exciting childhood, but I think it had its fair share of challenges, because with time now I came to realize I'm a bit different, and now the setting that I was in, which was working for me initially, it definitely started not working for me, because now there is that stigma that started immediately after that. Yeah. Okay. So that was not as easy. But now life again in high school was not easy. Even it was not easy in high school, because at this time I knew I was gay, and I think I went through a lot of challenges. I faced 7 years in high school. I was expelled in around 4 or 5 schools. And I think these are some of the challenges that I had when I was growing up. After I left school, of course I did not finish initially. I went to the streets, and I became a sex worker, and then I went back. I did Form 4, and here I am, currently working for people living with HIV and helping them here at Hoimas. That is how I have been growing up.
So how did you find out you are living with HIV, and what was your reaction?
How I found out I was living with HIV, it was funny. Well, I was in the streets for around 5 months, yeah? And then one day, the streets, somewhere in Westlands, we used to sleep somewhere in Westlands. And then one day, we were beaten a group of other street boys who we used to have around, and I was injured. I was very young. I was injured on my eye. I think it was on my left eye around here. When I was injured, I did not have a place to go because remember I did not have money, and I just stayed like that. The next morning, a friend told me, no, there is a clinic that helps even sex workers, basically female sex workers, and they would help you, yeah. And I was worried about the cost. They told me, no, we are not going to charge you. And the best part of it is that it's a sex worker, it's a sex worker clinic. So they are more likely to help without stigma and discrimination, unlike maybe in another health facility, maybe in a public health facility. And that is how I went to the clinic. And after I went to the clinic, it was normal that clients, when they want to be accessed, they go through. It's a vulnerable community clinic, and so testing is a priority. So I was requested to test for HIV. I was taken through the counseling. I accepted to test for HIV, and after I tested for HIV, that is when I realized I'm positive. So I actually went there to be treated for something else, and I found myself positive on that day.
So what was your parents' reaction? What was your parents' reaction to you being gay?
Well, my parents' reaction to me being gay, well, they can relate. I can relate them knowing about this back in high school. Yeah, the first time I was expelled, and they were told your boy has some girlish behavior, some behavior that does not really go with the morals of the school or the belief of the school. I don't know what it was because we were not having sex, okay? And we are not. It's just behaving. People would like, you're behaving sissy. You're behaving like a girl, yeah? And someday I remember I even wrote a letter to some guy outside school, yeah? And I put it in my locker, and someone found it and read it in a class, and that one found me getting an expulsion. And like, if that happened to a heterosexual student, probably they would be even applauded because they are men enough. But for people like me, I had to go through expulsion, and that is when my parents knew about it. Of course, like any other African parent, they did not take it well. I went through everything that any other gay person who is known to be gay at young stage would go. They prayers, you're taken to counselors, they pray for you, they say you have a problem, a lot of things, a lot of stress, yeah? And to a point that whereby now the people would even start, aligning calamities with you. It doesn't start from fight, it starts from family. That so and so is sick because of your behavior. You're giving them stress. And I think we're also seeing this even in the outside community. Yeah, gay people are always aligned with some calamity. So that is how I was, and that is why I left home. So after all that issue, I left home after schooling. It was so difficult. After I finished Form 4, later on, I came back to work for the community. Remember, I was still working for the community at the streets, and I came back to Hoimas, and that's where I've been ever since. So
as a gay man living with HIV in Kenya, how has life been, especially from society?
Life as a gay man living with HIV is hard, especially as a man who is out, gay and positive. I mean, coming out is very difficult as a gay person in Kenya.
Yeah.
But coming out positive is far much difficult. Yeah. So it is very difficult even to our communities, because we find that most of our communities are closeted.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in camera, they don't want to be seen by anyone. And so anytime someone like Samuel will even come and speak out, they might not even take it lightly, because they may be wondering why you're exposing us, or why you're trying to show that gay people are living with HIV. And I think it's just not be that easy. Yeah.
So have you faced stigma and discrimination both for being gay and for living with HIV?
I think I have forever. I think I've faced stigma ever since I knew myself as gay. Yeah, first is self-stigma. I did not accept myself for a very long time, to a point that it gave me mental health. Then there was this point that I even wanted to commit suicide severally. I've tried doing this around 3 times. Once I was in school, I was expelled, and it was so difficult for me. I think it was in Form 1, Form 2, and that time my mom had an illness, a certain medical condition she was going through, and she was given these dawas of hers. And I went home. I felt so bad after mom left for work. I crept in her room. I took the madawas. I personally swallowed more than 30 tablets. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I felt, I don't know what happened next. When I woke up, I vomited, and people, my father was around me, and that was the first time. And then the second time I was in another school, and I went through a lot of stigma during some time, and there was a time that the whole school had labeled me, and I could not even walk. Yeah, I could barely walk from a class to another. Nobody was speaking to me in a population of around 1,200. It was so difficult for me, and I thought that I need to do away with this life. And so what I did, I wrote a small letter, and then I put it under the box in my bed. And then I went, and because the school was boarding and day school, I had planned now that evening I'll go away with the day scholars and maybe do away with life outside there. You see, I felt like it wasn't that like I would want to die. Nobody feels best that nobody wants to die. It's just that they want to stop the pain. So the principal took it to the police station, and then the third time was after at the street of Nairobi, of course. I was also very depressed and very I also and I had to do this.
So you're open about being gay and living with HIV. How did you reach a point of coming out publicly?
When I came out publicly as gay, it's not like coming out. I did not make a decision of coming out as gay. I was brought out. I was exposed. There are some characteristics I used to have probably, and people in high school used to call me gay, and even outside. So coming out as gay was automatically. It came automatically. Yeah. And now coming out as positive was around 2 years ago in December. In this same room, I was actually seated in this same room that we were doing an interview. What happened is that I had a friend, and this friend of mine didn't know that I'm positive. I had not spoken to anybody that I'm positive. Remember the stigma I had gone through. I never wanted to go through any other stigma. So this friend of mine went to a clinic, not here, around town, and tested positive for HIV. He did not tell anybody, and he was depressed. He felt stressed. We saw him down. We tried asking personally, but he did not speak. So he went home to the reserve to see the mom, and we said, okay, it's good if probably they missed the mom, let them go home and probably see the mom. After 2 days, we were told that the guy has committed suicide. Now, we later realized that he had tested positive a week before, and he could not handle the news. He could not handle the shock. He could not handle the situation. So I felt like if this guy knew that I probably was positive, probably he would have spoken to me. Probably we would have changed the situation. Probably I would not have lost my friend. And I think since that day, I was seated in this room, and that news was broken that I've lost my friend, and he committed suicide because he had tested positive. I decided that no, not anymore. No more young people are dying because of this virus, because of not having a shoulder to cry on, because I know what it is. I almost lost it at a time, and I think any other person can lose it. They only need support, and you can always change the situation, and that is why I came out as a person living with HIV.
So you are open about being gay. Gay men are part of key populations who are most at risk to contract HIV. Could you please share HIV and STI prevention methods available for them?
For gay people, it's true that the vulnerability level for gay people is very high. It stands at around 19%, that is around 4 times higher than another heterosexual man. And there are several prevention methods that can be used, especially when you're using HIV, when you're preventing HIV and STIs. One, of course, is condoms and lubricants. This is because of the kind of sex. Lubricants is because of the kind of sex that men who have sex with men engage in. It's more kind of rough. And I think lubricant is meant to prevent, or to reduce any wear or tear. And of course, a condom would prevent STIs and other infections. And then we have something we call PrEP. PrEP is a pre-exposure prophylaxis, and this is a drug that is taken to prevent HIV. It is offered actually here free of charge because this is a high vulnerability population. And PrEP also prevents HIV, and if taken correctly, PrEP will work effectively. It's also good to note that PrEP does not prevent STIs and other sexually transmitted infections, and so we always encourage PrEP to go hand in hand with condoms because of also preventing yourself from other options. Here we also look at treatment as prevention. We look at the U is equals to U slogan very, very closely, and we really concentrate on it because we have a very huge population that is living positively, and what we want is that we want to stop new infections. So we're really encouraging those people who are living positively to test, people to test so that they know their status, and then they adhere to their ARVs 100% to a point that they get to a detectable level, because they'll be able to prevent or to protect the partners. Remember, the kind of relationships we have sometimes requires total trust, and I think by taking ARVs every day so that you're suppressed, it will also protect you. We're also telling people living with HIV also to use protection methods, because we want to protect others and also to protect themselves from reinfections and other infections. All these variables are found here free of charge.
So I want to ask about the situation in Kenya when it comes to violence against gay people and generally even sex workers. The law, they say the law, according to human rights, everybody is entitled to a free and safe space. But according to our constitution, same-sex relationships are illegal. So how would you speak about the violence that is associated to gay people and also sex workers?
Well, violence is quite high in Kenya. This is brought by very many reasons. One of them is what you say, is legality, the legal issue, the legal barriers that we have, especially in the penal code. Actually, the illegal part is found in the penal code of 1952, and then we have the community, the community that you stay in. This is Kenya, this is Africa. It is still very hard to accept. So homophobia is still very high, and the likelihood of violence is quite high. And we're also looking at the culture. We looked at the culture and the setup. It depending on who are your neighbors. The African culture, what does it say? What do the Africans believe? What is the culture that they borrow? You get. So most people are not open. They're not open-minded. They tend to rely on that culture, and they will judge you on that, and then they even implicate violence, and that is why violence is so high. The other thing, we're looking at religion. Religion is also used as a very big avenue to cause violence. What does religion say? And when you're speaking about religion, I'm speaking about the neighbors, who are hugely Muslims and Christians. And what does Muslim and Christian say about gay people, about gay relationship, and that is an avenue also that is used to perpetuate violence. So violence is quite high, and the violence starts from mental violence, physical violence, assault. We have had sexual violence being reported. We have all kind of violence happening to gay people, and that is why we actually at the court to repeal that violence, to repeal the penal code 162, section 162, 164, because it is actually the one that illegalizes same-sex. I don't know. They say it's same-sex
relationships.
Yes.
Okay, so one word for people who are gay people living with HIV, and even the general population of people living with HIV out there who are struggling with adherence, struggling with disclosure, struggling in denial. Just one last thing for them.
I would tell people outside there, especially you say gay people and other people living with HIV, like HIV is not the end of the situation. The best thing to do right now is to accept the facts. There's only one fact there, and there's only one situation that is not changing soon, and the situation is that you are HIV positive. So what do? This is something that can be as big as a mountain and as small as a pin if you want it to be. You only need to accept it, be positive about it, and take your drugs positively. Take it well, and nobody will actually question. These things are lifesavers. They actually the things that have been keeping us living. These are the things that makes the difference. You might be stressed, you might be depressed, you might not have hopes for tomorrow. You might say tomorrow is bad, but trust drugs, trust ARVs, and I think you will have a smiling tomorrow. And it doesn't take long actually to get undetectable. With DTG, with around 3 months, you're undetectable, and you've started this journey of smiling again. Yeah, you need to be positive in blood and mind.
Your social media handles as we finish?
My social media handle, the big one is TikTok. I'm called Githaiga Samuel 2. There's also Twitter, Githaiga Samuel 2. There's Facebook, Githaiga Samuel, and Instagram at Githaiga Samuel.
Thank you so much.
And for those people who passed also,
this is like the candlelight, the candlelight memorial is coming up actually next month.
This is actually what we do. So these are messages from our friends in memory of those who passed, and just telling the people who are coming to Hoimas to be free, and people who are living positive. You can see here, good work, keep the light burning.
Yeah, this one is actually one of the backgrounds of the video. So there is the love and support.
Rest in peace, the struggle continues. So these are just times one person purposes. We have to continue this. So before, kitambo kidogo, like 2 years ago, we used to have a lot of deaths. We used to bury people, like 3 people in a month. So it was to be, this room was actually a very, very horrible sorrowful room. This is where people used to come and cry and light candles. But currently, I think we are winning this war because we've not buried someone for like the whole year. This 2021, last year.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
We want life.
Yeah, so. And these are our partners.
And these are the partners, very many AIDS funds, Muhai, FHI, this one,
Keswa, Amigo,
that the last one with the African thing, and then there is
that one is Mego. This is Africa Sex Workers Alliance. This is Gay and Lesbian Coalition. Battle States for Female Sex Workers. Ishta MSM for MSM, Gay Men. Keswa for Kenya Sex Workers Alliance and VCT Health. Uhai are donors, FHI 360. The Red Umbrella Fund, AIDS Funds. These are just partners of AIDS. Open Society Foundation, AIDS, Japiego for PrEP, Julinde for PrEP, and of course, we are supported by
National
the
AIDS and STI Control Program.
Yes.
Share, like, subscribe, leave a nice comment. Please be nice. I know you people can sometimes not be nice, but today I want you to be nice. And let us meet next week with a brand new video. Bye-bye.